Hello, everyone. Dr. Stephanie Shuttler here. We are here, or I am here every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I answer a different question about wildlife careers. Lately, I've been on a wildlife career kick, but as we move on, I might answer some animal questions that you guys have. So let's get started on today's topic. It is all about having an impact. So the question is, which career path has the largest impact in saving the environment and wildlife? Now, the environment and wildlife are two different things, but I'm just kind of going to think of them collectively today. But so a lot of us go into this field thinking that they are going to save the world. That's why I went into this field, because I love animals, especially wildlife, and I really wanted to have an impact. I wanted to conserve species. But I think as scientists and just everyone needs to open their mind to thinking about careers outside of this direct saving wildlife. And so much of the science is really like triaging species. So there are species in decline, and we're trying to figure out how to reverse populations. And oftentimes with research, we're dealing with one species or one ecosystem. So yes, science is really important, and understanding what is going on with wildlife, what is going on with ecosystems is really important to do. But what I realized in my 17 years of being in this field, so I originally entered for conservation. There's my pup in the background. So I originally entered for conservation, but I felt like so much of my research was just being published in academic journals, and that I wasn't having the impact that I wanted to have. Also, so many of the conservation problems, quite honestly, do not involve the species themselves. So there are examples where species definitely need help from scientists. So if you think of the Sumatran rhino, they're only down to, I think it's like 40 individuals. So they absolutely need the research on genetics. They need the research on reproductive biology to help that species to persist. But for a lot of animals, like what I studied, the African forest elephant, if you leave elephants alone, stop the poaching, and where I studied them in Central Africa, they actually had habitat. So making sure that they have habitat, then the species does fine. It rebounds on its own. So that's really why I switched to more of a communication career, because I want to reach people and spread these messages that we really need to change our behaviors as humans in order to help wildlife recover. So, like I said, a lot of people think about scientists as having the biggest impact, but there's no one answer. But I would argue that there are a lot of jobs that are not really involved in research or the sciences that have a big impact on wildlife. So if you are working for a really large corporation like Amazon, like Walmart, these companies have gigantic impacts on the environment. So there was a recent study that said Amazon produced, I can't even remember how much plastic, but it was, like tons and tons of plastic just in 1 year for packaging. So if you're someone working at Amazon and they do have sustainability teams, you can advocate from the inside. You can work from the inside and try to change their impact. I know Amazon is trying to go carbon neutral by, I forget what year, I think 2030. So things like that have a really big impact on the environment. So one might argue that these corporations have a way bigger impact because they affect issues like climate change, which globally affect every single species living on the planet. Every single one, it all affects us. So even though it seems like selling out or these companies are all evil. In reality, your role, if you work for one of these companies, can have a big impact. And to give you an example, I remember when McDonald's came out with their apple slices and Happy Meals, like it affected the whole entire apple industry, and farmers had to respond to this because the demand from McDonald's all of a sudden entering the market was such higher demand than what they had from consumers purchasing or from restaurants purchasing. So again, these corporations, they have a really big impact. But I just encourage you to think about wildlife conservation and environmental conservation beyond the researchers working on single species or ecosystem issues. They are important and we need them. But I personally want to see more conservation-minded people in corporations, in the workplaces, to strive to make businesses more eco-friendly, however little that is. So again, there's no one right answer to this, but through my years of working as a wildlife biologist, I have transitioned into thinking that communication and I think education is actually a job with tremendous reach, because kids who are exposed to these ideas and have these emotional connections to nature, that's what's really important. It makes them lifelong conservationists. So if you're a teacher teaching 30 kids every single year, you can impact them. That can have a gigantic impact on conservation. So please don't think about this just one-dimensionally, that you have to be working on elephants to save them. No, you can be a politician. That can have a huge impact on conservation. So think bigger when we think about conservation careers. So that's it for today. I don't think we have any comments, but in general, I am open to any other questions that you guys might have during these Facebook Lives. So if you have comments when I'm talking, leave them. It can be about anything. It doesn't even have to be about this career topic. I am more than happy to answer them. So thank you. And next week, our topic will be about technology in wildlife. So somebody asked about what kind of technology is good for us entering this career to know for wildlife. What's the cutting edge technology out there? And I worked on a project that used cutting edge technology and that still uses it. I'm still part of this team implementing it. So I'm really excited to talk about this topic. Bye guys, have a happy Wednesday.